All conversations and information exchanged during What If Nothing's Wrong podcast with Heidi Haddad, LCSW, are intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please do not confuse this with treatment, therapy, or psychotherapeutic advice or guidance. The information on these podcasts is supplemental and not meant to interfere with the therapeutic work between you and your professional therapist, counselor, or psychiatrist. Please understand that Heidi Haddad does not maintain the role of your psychotherapist, but rather offers an educated, professional perspective from that of a licensed clinical social worker.
When your anxiety is crippling and you're stuck inside your head, find your joy, find your joy. When your man won't touch you but you wanna have a baby, find your joy, find your joy. When you're walking down the street and you get punched in the face, find your joy, find your joy. When you wanna fire a bazooka at your neighbor's barking dog, find your joy, find your joy.
And
find your joy,
we're on.
find your
Hi, guys.
joy.
Welcome to What If Nothing's Wrong, the podcast where we ask that question, what if nothing's wrong? I'm Nelsie Spencer, a woman who at one point had the longest hair in her high school. I'm joined by Heidi Haddad, who is hopefully going to sing the entire episode today, and by Ronnie Whaley, a man who no longer has any facial hair. Hi, guys.
Hi.
hello.
Hello.
I don't.
Once again, the enthusiasm is bouncing off the walls. What do I just dragging these guys through the podcast, dragging them through. So how's everybody doing? How are the kittens?
Oh my God. Sorry.
Makes me so happy. It is so easy to piss off Heidi. Just mention a kitty. That's all you have to do. That's all you have
Kittens
to do.
are fantastic. They're great.
Are they? How are
You
their
know,
genitalia?
same.
How's the genitalia
They
doing?
still haven't popped out yet. Still haven't popped out yet. I've
I
been
thought
checking
you
every
could
day.
push their bellies to
You
do it.
can, but at some point they're gonna just be out, and I've been checking every day, twice a day, all 10 of them. There's only 4 kittens, but yeah. So
Obviously, you have some free time on your hands.
parents are concerned, but they don't know anything. So, but yeah,
Kittens are good.
pretty
Okay.
good.
Kittens are
They're
good. Heidi, how about you, my
They
darling?
keep walking in Ronnie's room, and Ronnie's like pushing on their bellies.
All right.
I'm opening their legs. How's
Next.
it now? I think I started the day too early. I peaked already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm on my
She
way
peaked.
down.
She got up at 6. She peaked at 8:30 a.m.
Exactly. All right. So last night on Twitter, just going to
Tell us,
say
baby.
it. My prompt was about your birthday, as we know, as we prepare. Oh, hello. There you are. Does your birthday cause
She
you
just put her
anxiety?
glasses on.
You want to stick needles in your eyes, reflect, party like it's 1999. At J Brazil wrote, today is my
Tweeted.
birthday, and I was just thinking how it is actually. Ronnie just thought to himself, can I edit that out? Today my birthday, and oh, for fuck's sake. At J Brazil said, today is my birth. Nope.
What the hell?
It's not rocket science.
All right.
Heidi, read the comment. Oh no, we've lost her. We've lost her.
You don't know, but like every time I'm in these episodes, I'm editing in my head already. Cut that, leave that, cut that.
I hope none of that
Okay.
was leave that. I hope that all went under the category of cut that.
Well, as soon as you say that, I leave it in. You know what I mean?
I quit. Can we get a new producer / editor? Last night on Twitter, at J Brazil wrote, today is my birthday, and I was just thinking how it is actually a celebration of not dying, the same way an anniversary is a celebration of not killing each other.
That's funny.
That was good.
Funny,
That
and
was
I
good.
think that person's right? It's
Yeah.
we're all. Somebody else wrote. I didn't put it in, but about Ronnie, I think
That's a
you
good way to
responded
look
to
at it.
this about
What's that?
a death march to Bataan
Oh,
or from
yeah.
Bataan.
Bataan. Yeah.
Excuse me, not
Yeah.
Bataan.
That was a weird reference. Death March of Bataan. This is when all the American soldiers walked. I forget. I don't know the history I don't know. I can't. But it's basically they walked and a bunch of them died during it.
Well, it was also a movie that came out in 2008.
Was it?
Yeah, 76,000 Americans marched, and after the fall of Manila, the Americans were hurled back by the advance of the enemy. In the face of the onslaught, General MacArthur ordered a fighting retreat.
I mean, did you just pull that up?
20,000 Filipino troops.
For a second, I thought so, but then it was really sounded red.
Yeah. So,
well, she's been hanging out with me a lot, so she knows just a bunch of Filipino history.
So much Filipino history.
Anyway, Bataan is 30 minutes away from me, literally. Like,
wow.
I'm going to pass by tomorrow, so it was just interesting to see that.
At Grawls wrote, my birthday, which is Monday, October 4th. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Has always brought me joy. I'm lucky that was, I know. My bio family isn't perfect, but they're pretty cool.
Wow.
They're pretty cool.
I have to say that my family are huge birthday people. Huge.
Really?
I don't have to say that at all, but
Huge.
I'm saying it anyway.
Wow.
Huge.
Wow.
Are they really?
They are.
So you go to a lot of birthday parties.
Do I?
Yeah.
You do?
If you're
Okay.
huge, if birthdays are huge in your
Yeah,
family.
right.
I just mean that they're recognized, acknowledged. My mother is known for sending balloons everywhere
that's
to all
nice.
of her children, no matter how old they are. There are always balloons, and it's quite nice. When I was living in Africa, I had a picture of balloons that from my last birthday before I went, which these big bundle. I mean, I know it's terrible for the environment, by the way. I'm very clear. And so I'm not a supporter of that, but I am a supporter
we're
of the
anti-balloons on
tradition.
this podcast.
We're anti-balloons. No,
We have
balloon
an
advertisements. But
no balloon sponsors.
Fuck
but I
big
do have
balloon.
to say that I appreciate the tradition. I'd be happy if the tradition changed to something else. But the fact is, it happens to be balloons, and it's really, no matter where I am in the world, balloons arrive.
That
somehow,
is pretty
somewhere.
impressive. That is
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
I think it's very
in my
sweet.
family, it's all about a check. You get a check in the mail.
You know,
Like that.
like I said, if she wanted to switch out balloon, no, I'm just kidding. That's not true. I like the balloons. They're festive.
And I continued to get checks on my birthday from my aunts, that my mom's sisters, well into my 30s, maybe even into my 40s, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's like whatever age I was, that's how big the check was. If you're 12, you get a $12 check. If you're 13, et cetera, et cetera.
That's
So I
nice.
was
Oh,
breaking
really?
it in my 40s, man. I'm $40, man. That's awesome. Thanks, Aunt Stacey. Thanks, Aunt Mary.
That's a good way to be like excited from like, oh, I'm gonna get another $1, one more dollar than
One
this
more
check
dollar.
next year.
One more silver dollar.
All right.
It's the all singing episode.
All right.
All right. This is a sad one. At Real Miss Smith, my mother taught me that I'm not special a long time ago. She told me I was too old for birthdays at 9. I reluctantly had a 50th birthday, but I planned it along with my husband's. Birthdays are 6 days apart because I cringe at the idea of too much attention on me alone. So no.
No, yeah. So no.
So just no. That's just a hard no to
On
the yes
birthdays.
or no prompt. Parents have their own stuff, right? And everybody's just, even I was thinking about this, about what Ronnie had said a couple episodes ago, talking about his father and recognizing that his father's just a guy with an opinion. And that doesn't just mean
Just an average guy. You know?
just an average Joe.
Just a dude.
Just has an opinion. I can take it or leave it. It's his. It doesn't mean much, or it could mean a lot. Doesn't matter. It's just a guy. So all of our parents, all of us as parents, it's so arbitrary. We parent either the way that we know because of how we were parented, or we parent in opposition to what we know because we want to be nothing like that.
I'm going to make sure that I'm not them. Yeah.
Right. Or it's a combination of all of that. And there are lots of ways, I think, in which we parent that we don't even realize we're doing that are exactly like our parents. And sometimes when we find out, it's a little bit scary or disappointing or joyful, depending on what it is. But in these cases, when your parents are parenting you with their fears and their beliefs that who knows what the deal is with this particular person, but just in general, it's
What
not
did she
yours,
look-
right? We spend
No,
the
it's
rest of our
not.
lives trying to get out from under.
You're not
trying
special.
to undo the things that we've learned. And that you're not special. And then you're monitoring, you have all your affirmations, and then you beat yourself up for not doing your affirmations. And then you have to have
So
an affirmation about making
it's
sure
okay if I do affirmations. I love myself unconditionally, even if I
exhausting.
don't do my affirmations.
Takes them an hour and a half every morning.
Right.
It's an endless loop.
This is why parents should have a class. They were right in that movie Parenthood when Keanu Reeves said, you need a license to drive, but you don't need a license to parent. You need a license to parent. You should have a license to parent. We should be
All
in
right, Jerry.
classes.
Every time you get a little too upset, you turn into Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry
I don't know
Seinfeld.
why.
Jerry Seinfeld.
It's like a level.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Because you know it's true. Because you know it's true.
Get still. Okay, fine.
I think that it's my mother told me a long time ago, or informed me that I wasn't special. Whatever the line is, it's like, it's like, did she take her aside and just say, or him, or Per? Did the mother take Per aside and go, okay, listen, you're not special? I mean, it's so, and we don't know how that landed on them.
It seemed like based on the tweet, it wasn't that mom told me that I wasn't special, but that it was taught. And
You're not that great.
Yeah.
Not that special. Like, right? Isn't that what you're saying?
No, I mean,
No, you ain't special. That's what you're trying to say, right?
That's how I interpret it. Hey, little miss. Yeah,
Well,
I know it's your
think you
6th
are. Yeah,
birthday.
that's
You're not special. Look around. There's billions of people on the planet.
First of
Nothing
all,
special
that
about you.
100% could have been the deal. I don't know, and for sure that does happen in some families. In this case, it's not clear that the mother actually said you're not special versus however mom dealt how it was received.
The message was,
I don't feel I'm not special. And so at 9, when you're too old for birthdays, I mean, what is that? Okay,
Wow.
well, and right before your big 10? I mean,
Yeah,
10.
I'm about to be double digits, Mom. Come
Exactly. Double digits.
on. Well, I
It's
know
3 years away from being a teenager. That's a big deal.
All right.
Come on.
George?
I'm Jerry Seinfeld.
No, don't do it, Nelsie.
Kramer?
Nelsie, take your own character from Seinfeld.
Oh my God. You're right. I'm
You
happy
could
to
be
be
Elaine.
Elaine. I'll be Elaine. I'm happy
That's
to
what I
be.
just said. Do or dance.
She did. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I can do the Elaine dance. Oh yeah, it's on my resume under special skills.
It's on my reel.
It's on my reel.
You know, in my bedroom.
You know that Nelsie was a professional ice skater, so she's got the dance.
Yeah, I heard.
I was 12. I competed once. I got third place. I should have gotten second. Just saying. Made my own outfit.
What was the
So-
point of this?
The last thing I'm going to say about birthdays, and then we're moving on, are
Okay.
that
Okay.
sometimes I think birthdays to some people are a way to take the temperature of those in their life.
Oh,
Are they remembering me? Does anybody care about me? Who remembers me? How many people
like a
called
check-in.
me? Yeah, how many people
Yeah.
called me?
How important am I?
Yeah, how important am I? And gauging their level of importance on the number of people that remember. And I have a friend who once said to me,
Once again.
What?
Once
What the
again.
hell?
We're waiting.
Oh
We're
my
waiting.
God. Oh my God. And right before I said I have a friend, it was right there. And then
was
as soon
there.
as I said
There.
that, okay, so my friend said, I don't know what my fucking friend said. I can't even, whatever. Cut that out.
About birthdays.
People just don't remember shit. People just
They
don't
don't.
remember stuff. And it's
They don't.
not a
Yeah, like you right now. They really don't.
People just don't
Oh my
remember.
God.
People don't what?
Exactly.
people do not remember stuff. They just It is not an indication of whether they care about you or not if somebody remembers or doesn't remember your birthday.
I still am not sure what my best friend's birthday is. And she's a little vague about mine. But we call each other and talk to each other 3 and 4 times a week. So it's just like, but I know my best friend from like when I was really little, Lizano, and I know her birthday is May 16th. Like, and I know that Bev Burnbach's birthday
October 21st.
is November 3rd.
I was on a different podcast with this comic, and he was telling a story that kind of reminded me of this. Like, when your birthday, you expect like certain things, and it's like a temperature check. He said he knew this guy, a friend of his, who like wanted to see who was his real friend. And so he like stopped talking to a bunch of people and then waited to see who would check in on him. And then all the people that didn't, he cut out of his life.
Wow.
Yeah, like just cut out of, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Which is kind of extreme, I'd say.
I think it's pretty extreme. You know what I find nice actually is that while it's nice to get all of those, I'm now finding it's randomly people, if you're not on social media, like Facebook, I don't know about the other ones, if they announce your birthday or not, but I'm not on Facebook. So therefore people don't get I don't get prompts about people's birthday and they don't get ones about mine. So, and when I did, who cared anyway? Because some people just write happy birthday. Who cares? Not interesting. And for me, I don't find that interesting. But now when I get a random text from someone I haven't spoken to in years who, for whatever reason, remembered or recognized or got prompted, who knows, but acknowledges my birthday, that's always nice. It's always like, oh, hey, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how I just said that I was explaining that guy? I'm kind of that guy. Remember?
You are that guy?
Remember
I
5 seconds
was
ago?
talking about that. Yeah. You were talking about like Facebook, like telling people when it's their birthday. I turned that off for me to see if people remember. And if they didn't remember, You're
dead to me.
Yeah, be like, okay.
Why are you doing that, Ronnie? Why are you checking?
But do you think that how much people love you or care about you has to do with whether they remember your birthday or not?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. No hesitation there. Yes. Yes.
Last night on Twitter is over. It's dead to us, just like if you don't remember our birthdays. Confrontation versus communication. If you avoid confrontation with people that love you, it may be difficult to learn that you can communicate safely, trusting that you'll still be loved no matter what. And maybe if you don't do this or have this opportunity, maybe it's difficult to grow and expand and be fearless in your expression of self. Anybody want to touch on that?
So what you're I'm thinking. So what you're saying, Heidi, is that there's a difference between communication and confrontation. Is that correct? Yeah. And also that
okay.
Brian's like, okay.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Right.
So you're saying there's a difference between confrontation and communication, right? Mm-hmm. Because sometimes because confrontation has perhaps a negative or an adversarial combative connotation to it, right? So even though you feel like, oh my God, it's confrontation, if you can reframe it to like, oh, I just want to communicate my needs or my thoughts or my concerns to this person versus I'm going to confront them about, let's say, for instance, the condiments, then, right?
For example,
right?
Can you explain that? What that is?
You guys
new listeners.
If our listeners
Nelsie
don't know the condiments reference, then they got to
first of all listen to every other episode before this one,
right
and
now.
You will know.
No, but if you're
that Nelsie has a thing about condiments, and that there are members of her family that have a thing about not returning them to their proper place in the kitchen, and Nelsie gets very upset about it.
So instead of me going, could anybody ever put the fucking condiments away? Or I don't want to have to confront them about the condiments. What if I'd like to communicate my needs about
I think this is the third episode in a row that we mentioned the condiments thing. Like,
which is why I keep bringing it up, because I think
Nelsie's like brewing like every day. It's this condiments thing.
Today it was yogurt. It's not a condiment, which I don't think is a condiment. So I'm just trying to get clarity about the prompt. Little Miss Heidi. Am I getting it right?
Yeah, you are. I think that I hear often people say, oh, I'm not really confrontational. I don't like confrontation. And I say, you're not confronting someone. You are communicating how you feel. It's not a confrontation. You're not looking to fight. You're looking to share how you feel, period. And I think that there's a misconception that when you tell someone how you feel, that you are starting a fight, and putting air quotes around that, or being confrontational.
Yeah.
And to your point, there's a negative connotation. And I wonder if sometimes people use that word confrontational when they're in a situation where they could simply communicate, because they didn't grow up in a home or a situation where they felt safe to share their feelings, or encouraged to share their feelings, or allowed, or that there wasn't room for their feelings. Therefore, right. And maybe the person who raised them didn't model good communication skills, so they don't know how to do it, plus didn't feel safe to do it. Not that they would be in trouble, but it just wasn't room for it. Also, you could be in trouble, but across the gamut.
Yeah, running the gamut across the gamut.
Well, there's a lot of gamut.
I don't think that's right.
So many gamuts, so little time.
I don't think that's right. There's no gamut. So,
I think Heidi had something to share.
The scary kid.
A TikTok, a scary kid situation.
So this is a tiny video on Instagram, a short video on Instagram, or I guess maybe it came from TikTok, that is of a seeming, what appears to be a girl, and she is doing some sort of martial art activity. Do you know what it is? It's a
competition. They're in an arena. There's people in the stands.
Taekwondo or martial arts.
Martial arts, and there is a competition, as Nelsie said, and between two little kids. They can't be more than 6.
Yeah.
What are they, 6? Yeah.
Something like that. And when they start, the girl grabs the kid, the boy, around the neck from the get-go, and just throws him to the ground in a really aggressive way.
And the face?
And the kid, the one that went down, the little boy, I think, is hysterically crying.
And the girl who went after him after she sort of
it's so aggressive,
slammed him down, straddles him, really gets him. Then she gets up and looks at the camera with a check that out. I mean, there's
and then a face when she's told to get off of him because he's hysterically crying. She has a look on her face that suggests, you get a load of this kid. Can't even handle it. I mean, but it's so aggressive. It's so intense. And the get it girl, I have a little bit of a problem with it, with this video. And namely, first of all, of course, I'm all for girls' rights,
women empowerment,
and
girl empowerment, girl power.
Well articulated there, Nelsie. But not to the point that we go to the other side, that we're just beating up on boys, right?
That's the thing, though, that this is still a sport, though. You got to think about it in that, this is a fighting sport. You know what I mean? So, yeah, someone's gonna in high school, I watched a guy break another guy's leg in a wrestling match, and be like, should I be like, why are we even fighting? You know what I mean? This is kind of what is signed up for, and it's. But
when you're in a wrestling match, are you supposed to break bones?
It could happen. It's a physical sport. It's what's gonna happen sometimes. You know what I mean?
It can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, I get it, because they're also kids, but also don't have the class then. But also some kids really love it, and it gets them going. It gets them energized. Saturday mornings. It's tough. I don't know.
Saturday mornings, let's kick some ass. Let's make a little boy cry. Come on. Let's go.
Look at her.
Pack
She
up,
obviously
grab your
is
juice
into
box. Let's go.
She was like a rabid dog. That's what she was just like, come on.
She doesn't have to worry about anything. If she was if there was an attempted kidnap on her, they would be scared of her. You know what I mean?
So that's good. So to keep
it's an interesting place to go with that. Okay.
Well, here's
He's
the thing.
Not suggesting that anybody does that.
No.
What, we can pretend that people don't do that? This happens.
Ronnie is
This
not
happens.
advocating kidnapping. I don't want you guys to
I'm
think
not-
that for a
no,
second.
obviously I'm not doing that. Yeah.
But I think that I do think it's one of these things that is controversial because on the one hand, what Ronnie's saying is right on. It's a sport.
I don't like it.
But on the other
I
hand,
have to
it's
say it
so
makes sense.
disturbing. It's so
Yeah.
disturbing to what comes up for me is like, I guess I always worry about this when you see how much of it is what the kid wants to do. Is it what the kid wants to do? How much of it is what the parent might want their kid to do? I don't know. Some part of me wonders, where did that level of anger come from in that little girl? But maybe it's not a level of anger. Maybe she's just competitive. I don't know. But I feel an equal level of disturbing about it. As
It is
as
kind
Heidi
of
does.
scary. Like, I wouldn't want to piss her off. You know what I mean? Because, like, she's small. Like,
Because she's like 6.
She could rip my fingers off. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, she would take you down.
Ronnie, your point is well taken. And so within the realm of it being well taken, and just to be clear, if it were 2 boys, I would feel the same way. And maybe that was an unnecessary, obvious one, but
No, I don't think it is. Because
it's just,
go ahead.
I think it's just the way in which the look on her face, and she literally flies across the mat at his neck, which like her arm is already hooked, ready to get his neck in the hook, and take him down.
well,
It just,
objectively,
Mhm.
she's very talented in this
She's good.
sport.
She's fine
Yeah.
with it.
fine.
She
Let's
knows
give
what
her
to do.
props for
You know what I mean?
it. Was that all of that was well played?
Yeah, in martial arts, for sure. Like, she took that kid down ASAP. That's like
You're supposed to go around the neck.
Yeah, it's
fair.
Do I look
Fair
like
game.
a martial arts professional to you?
Yeah,
No,
you do.
but you
holds
sound
are.
like one. You sound like you really know your stuff.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean that's what it is, right? Martial arts. Like, have you seen the UFC match? If you've never seen UFC before and you see it like for the first time, it's brutal. You know what I mean?
It's so brutal. It's brutal
But-
the first, second, third, fourth, 25th
I
time.
guess, but they're also seeming adults, right? Versus these
Yeah,
6-year-olds
they both want to
who
get
are-
in there.
right? Versus the other 6-year-old who's just like, I'm just here to do my, competition on a Saturday afternoon. Boom.
right.
Out.
But
And so maybe this isn't the sport for him, or maybe he's not
Or
aggressive
maybe
enough.
he gets stronger. Like Karate
Right.
Kid.
Or maybe he's
There you-
like Karate Kid, but it was so sad to watch him just crying, and just a little kid, and he's just crying, and she wouldn't have gotten off if it wasn't for someone else saying, Get
I would have
off
been
of him."
more upset if like he got hurt and the ref didn't like stop it, like prevented
He
it.
was hurt.
Well, but I
I
mean,
mean,
like
his pride was hurt. His pride.
She
I
had
don't
him around
know.
the neck, and then she slammed him like Bam Bam
Yeah,
on the
but-
ground. You
like
know, and
Bam
This
Bam.
is Heidi. This is not your sport, and it probably wouldn't be Leon's sport. That's all I'm saying.
fine. It's aggressive. That's true. I'm not down with it, but I felt bad for the other kid. I really
I
felt
know.
bad. I'm good for her that she's an ass kicker. Great.
I was in a hockey team. I was a
Right.
hockey team and hurt that kid. Remember?
yeah,
I told you
know.
I
we
said that?
remember.
Yeah,
And you never went
But that-
back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that team
I didn't tell
still,
your dad.
You know, that
We
team
remember.
still
Still
you know,
goes.
they still go. Yeah, there's a league. You know, there's Pee Wee. You know, Pee Wee exists in this world. Pee Wee football.
I mean, and I
You
think
believe that?
I think
Yeah.
when you've got sports and a contact sport, and you've got kids involved, there's a lot of lines that is that crossing the line? Is that not crossing the line? And sports
Fair.
have rules, and I would bet that martial arts, there's all these rules that if she's breaking the rule, they're going to stop it, or if he's breaking the rule, or if Per is breaking the rule, they're going to stop it. In soccer, you can shoulder somebody off the ball, but you can't go bam. You can't push them.
Yeah.
You can go after the ball, but if you put your foot out and it looks kind of like you're going for the ball, but really you're just tripping the guy, you're going to get a yellow card or you're going to get a foul. So
Slide kick.
exactly.
That was
Slide
my
tackle.
move.
That it's a good move.
So it
it's
was
a
my
really
move
good
too.
move. Yeah. Heidi is a known slide tackler. Oh my God. So, but I think
I don't wanna
the
say
thing that's
anything.
interesting to me, and I don't want to be too gender I don't want to get too gendery around this, but both
Sexist
Heidi and I had
is a word that we used to use for that.
Yeah, but I don't mean that. I just mean
gender-oriented conversation.
Yes,
Gender
I think that
specific?
gender specific, because I think
Should
sort
we
of
keep
both
going?
Heidi and I had a similar thing of like, oh my God, but the little boy's crying, and Ronnie's like, yeah, it's a sport. And is that something that's happened to us? Is that innate with us,
I think
or
it's
is
because
that?
we're both moms.
I think it's because we're both moms.
And Ronnie's doesn't care about anybody but his
He doesn't care
millennial
about
self.
you know what? He doesn't care about children. He never has. Never will.
Just about little kitties and their
Kittens.
genitalia.
I mean, hey, my sister is a soccer player. She's professional, not professional, but she was a professional, actually. I guess she would be considered. But she's a national athlete who tore ACL, both ACLs twice. And I watched that happen. It wasn't fun to watch.
How old is she?
My God.
She's 4.
No, when that happened, I think she was like 16.
Okay, she's 16. That's a different story. I don't feel bad for her. I feel bad for
Yeah, but it's still,
it's like a kid.
my
It's like
little
a kid.
sister
No,
getting hurt. You know
I
what
get
I mean?
that, but so you're a compassionate person. We get that, but I think there's a difference.
Yeah, you're
I care.
compassionate. Okay,
About my
you're
sister.
you're a real
Yeah,
pal. You're a real good guy. I think it's
good guy.
Yeah, you're a good guy. Yeah,
I think it's more about the age of the kid. If a 16-year-old is playing soccer and gets kicked in the face, that is sad and all of that, and they're 16 and who cares? No, I'm kidding. I care.
But how about this? How about if that kid did 10 of those matches in that one day? Would it be considered impressive?
Which kid?
Or
You're talking about
the master martial artist here?
Okay.
You know what I
the
mean?
one that we believe is a girl.
The one that did the taking down.
Yes,
Yeah.
the takedowner.
We'll just call her Bam Bam.
Yeah, if Bam Bam won 10 matches that day, that would be like Olympic level. You know what I mean?
If she won 10 matches that day and made every single one of them cry, what about that?
That would be Olympic level.
Boom.
Okay, you're fine. You know what? You're ruining my whole. You're enlightening my whole perspective.
You're
That's what I mean.
enlightening my perspective.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you.
I
I'm just
hear you.
giving
No, you're right,
yeah.
Ronnie. You're right. It's a sport. That's the game. That's the game. Got to deal with it.
I really do wish, if I saw a UFC match, if I saw a regular takedown, like two grown 30-year-olds and one of them started crying, I would love to watch that.
And would you think the grown 30-year-old that was crying was a loser, or would you have compassion? How would that land on you? That's the question.
Well,
Really?
He said he'd laugh. Does that sound
I
compassionate?
didn't say I'd laugh. I said I would love to see that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. God damn it, Ronnie. You did say that.
No, I have a story that's pretty related. So Raina is playing indoor soccer, and it's a mixed
Picture
league.
this.
So they're at the
Raina,
age where they're
indoor
both
soccer.
That's hard ground. Hard ground.
they're both boys and girls. It's it's both sexes.
Co-ed
and
is what we call it.
Thank you. It's co-ed, and and there's a kid on the team. And when you play soccer, it's like U10 or U11. That means under 10 or under 11, and you can't be over a certain birthday. And you have to have a card. You have to prove it. All of this, right? So we're playing, and I'm looking out there, and there's a kid out there that's in its U12, and he's got a little facial hair, and he's seriously 10 inches taller than everybody else. And I'm like,
coach.
Coach, what's going on? Who is that? And they're ignoring me, and I'm just the annoying mom, right? And then I go,
picture it.
it's yeah, you can't picture me being the annoying mom. I know it's a stretch. And so then my daughter's running along, and this kid tackles her and hurts her. And this kid, who I don't know how old they were not U12. I come down out of the stands, and I say, ref, what the heck's going on? What the heck's going on? And I go to the coach, and they finally take this kid off because he was too old. And the dad of that kid is standing there with his arms crossed when they take the kid off. And I don't know that he's the dad. And as I walk by, he goes, fucking bitch to me.
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
and he's huge. He's 6'4", 300.
Which maybe his kid is big too.
No.
Wait, so did you find out?
Yes, we found out that he was 14. He was 2 years older. He had fucking facial hair, right? And this guy calls
Maybe
me
he
a
had puberty
fucking
early.
he calls me a fucking bitch.
Probably.
And I said, "Excuse me? Your son is out there potentially injuring kids, and I'm a fucking bitch?" Well, the good news is security came, tossed him out of Chelsea Piers, banned for life.
I love the parents at these these like games of their kids, it can get wild.
Oh, it can get
Like,
wild. And if it's
it
social
gets so
media,
wild.
Why did they
Go
kick
ahead.
him out? Did they hear him say that to you, or did you go over and say, "Did you hear what he called me?"
well, somebody called security. It wasn't me, and then security
Because
came.
you were
and,
fighting this guy.
right, because there was a verbal altercation, and
Did
they
it
have
go
security
on
cameras.
beyond you saying
No,
no?
he and the security came. The security guard, thank God, was also built like a Coke machine, basically, and was like, "Sir, you can go out, calmly, or I can escort you out." And he left, and I was told he was banned for life from Chelsea Piers.
Also, on our game expressions, built like a Coke machine. Write that down.
You've never heard that expression,
No.
Ronnie?
Look, no, I've never heard that. But
Oh
look
my
at this! Look at this dad at his kid's hockey game. Look how mad he gets.
Holy!
Okay, we're watching a dad get up out of his seat, walk over
And he
to
keeps yelling. He does that, and he keeps
And
yelling
he
as if they
breaks-
didn't.
he
Good.
breaks the glass between the rink and the
The
stands
hockey, yeah.
and just keeps yelling.
He smacked it.
It
It so
shatters.
shattered, and then he keeps yelling.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Did you hear that one lady? She goes,
No.
"Keep the wheels on the bus, Rev." You hear that?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I will
Way
tell
to go,
you.
Paul.
Okay. A little crazy.
Oh,
crazy.
God.
Yeah, things
I
get
I
crazy.
thought for sure
at
that was
these
going to be
games.
somebody I knew.
It's Paul. Way to go, Paul. Come on.
Wait, is that Paul Stanley?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, things get heated. I mean, I have 25 soccer stories about parents and kids and shit going
It's
on.
interesting though because
We are not going to hear them right now.
No, we're not. We're not.
it's a specific situation because it is a competitive area. Plus, you have your blood and body, your children going against other people's children. It's more emotional than just watching a regular sports
Oh,
game. You know what I mean?
completely.
Yeah, you're
So it
right.
can get really
Completely.
intense.
It
You know
gets
what I mean?
way too intense. I used to joke that they really needed like an IV of Valium on the sidelines for the parents, just so
That makes a
can
lot
you
of
just
sense.
calm
It gets
us down.
tense.
It gets crazy tense. Like, yeah,
It becomes personal.
I'm stressed out.
me too.
Could be all
too.
that caffeine, though.
So on the we've got we've got a parent theme going on, and within that theme, my daughter, I recently, first of all, my kids are 25 and 27. My daughter has a real full-time job. My son is making a boatload of money coaching soccer and waiting tables, etc. We finally asked them to contribute to their phone plan because they've been on the family phone plan, of course, since they were young. And can you please contribute $50 to your phone plan and $50 towards your car insurance? They do pay for their own cars now. And after I did that, my daughter sent me a TikTok that I believe, Ronnie, you have that TikTok. Do I need
I wish
to
it was
resend
her.
it to you?
I'm sure it's not your daughter, but I wish it was.
Oh, I do too.
This is a message for my parents, and everyone else can keep scrolling. Yes, I am 27, and yes, I have a job, and yes, I am financially independent, but no, you cannot kick me off the family phone plan because we are family, and maybe if you didn't want to pay for my phone plan, then you shouldn't have had kids.
I love that. That's Shmemi's line. Like that's the line she did. Like, don't cross, not the phone plan.
That's like a thing, right? Like I have a couple of friends who are like financially independent, but they're like, no, I'm trying to stay on that phone plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's up with
Mom
that?
and dad are still going to. What's up with that? Exactly. What is up with that? Because I'm the one who doesn't seem to be able to create a boundary. Like,
So what'd you say?
she was just joking with me. I mean, because she is paying she's paying $50 for her phone, which is appropriate. We're inching away. We're inching away from supporting them completely, even though
I
they
love how
both
it like $50 is appropriate versus pay for your own phone. You have a full
pay for
time
your-
job.
You have a full-time job. But I
meanwhile,
think
Nelsie's like, I think $50 is an appropriate amount. I mean, I don't want to hurt her.
exactly.
I don't want her to be
But that's
upset.
what, I don't want to
I
be
don't want
mean.
her to be
My fear.
broke.
This is why I wanted to bring this up.
Right. This is
Heidi,
going to throw her.
Bankrupt.
Haddad. Because I feel like, because of the way and we spoke about this earlier, you're either, sometimes you raise your children exactly how your parents raised you, or you do the opposite, or sometimes you do what your parents did unconsciously. Well, my dad, when I was 17, said to me and my brothers, I hadn't even graduated high school yet, rent has been paid till the end of the month, and after that, you guys have to find a place to go. So my dad just pieced out when I was 17. So, which was,
And how did that land?
it was really fucked up. At the time, I thought, oh, I guess he's right, because, he can't pay for us forever. So I guess I better figure it out.
Yeah, but also at that time, there was no phone. There was no extra.
There
I
were no
guess you
phone
still had a
plans. No.
landline. You had a landline.
Exactly. We had a landline. And
Electricity.
exactly. But
So what
the
did
point,
you do?
The point is, that's a whole other story. I didn't
no,
handle it.
my question is this: you don't have to go into the details of it unless you want to, but it's more, did you cope? Was it incredibly
I did nothing.
challenging?
I didn't know what to do. So I did nothing. My brothers moved out. My dad moved out. I was in that house by myself with 3 pieces of furniture and my stereo. I went and got my wisdom teeth pulled because my mom had made the appointment to get
She's
my
going into it.
wisdom
Okay.
teeth pulled. And by chance, my dad came back to the house to get something else. He saw me there. He picked me up and took me to to his new location, which happened to be a mental hospital where I lived above it in an apartment for 2.5 years. So Ronnie knows this story because I've told it on Losing It. But the point is,
So basically,
Episode
you
87.
didn't actually end up on your own. He came back and said, "Just kidding, come on in."
no,
He
but he didn't
realized
come
that was
back
insane.
for me. He came back for something else and was like,
No,
"Oh
I
shit,
got
my
it.
daughter's."
He left his roach
I guess
clip,
I
and he
better-
came
I
back to
guess
get his roach clip.
He came back to get- he had a really good bag
Hey,
of
I
weed.
know you.
What are you doing here?
So I think because it felt to me like my parents really dropped the ball, I'm so worried about being mean. Although it's interesting because I'm less worried about it than Doug is. I'm like, they got to start paying for their own car insurance. And Doug's like, okay, well, in January there. So help me, Heidi Haddad.
What's the question?
How and when does one create boundaries around their finances for your kids when they're in their mid-20s?
There's this book actually that I got about raising your kids.
Was it Rich Dad Poor Dad?
No.
That one I do need. Rich Dad Poor Dad I do need. Well, it's supposed to be really good because it's all about what your father and I think they talk father because traditionally the father is supposed to be the money maker in the old world, in the old model. And so many people learn their ideas around money and around earning from their dads. Or anyway, I wasn't articulate at all, but that's supposed to be a really good book because it unearths maybe the lessons you were taught that you didn't even know you were taught, and how you get caught in a certain financial bracket because of that. Did you read it, Ronnie?
My dad did. And he'd been wanting me to read it for the longest time. But I don't have kids.
and here's the question. Do your parents pay for anything?
So my parents grew up like rather poor. My mom way more poor than my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like really poor, like catch your own meal type poor.
Jeez,
And
Ronnie.
yeah, I had a conversation with my dad because he was talking about how to raise kids, and he said that my mom used to do this thing with us where like about talking about spending, where she would try to instill this fear of like, if you spend it all, you'll be incredibly poor and you don't know what to eat the next day. And my dad was like, that's not the right thing to do. And the right thing to do is to your safety and put it away, but don't be scared.
Right.
Don't use fear.
Fear. Right. Don't instill fear. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't instill fear, because that's just going to be a whole, it'll
lead to anxiety attacks and hospitalizations.
Yeah, exactly. Like a bunch of stuff. Right. So that's something I learned from that. And also my dad, they have boundaries. Like my parents have boundaries. So I have friends who have parents who don't have boundaries, and they just pay for everything, and they're like 30 or whatever. Right. And that's not my parents. And I'm grateful for that, because I wouldn't be on this podcast. I wouldn't be editing. I wouldn't be like doing, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have I'd be playing video games right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you have a really good work ethic, because you have to earn your own living.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, exactly. I give a shit.
Heidi, did you find the name of the book?
The Opposite of Spoiled: Raising Kids Who Are Grounded, Generous, and Smart About Money.
Ooh.
There's this guy, Ron Lieber, who is the New York Times Your Money columnist.
Yeah.
He delivers a manifesto that explains, I'm reading this now, explains how talking openly to children about money can help parents raise modest, patient, grounded young adults who are financially wise beyond their years.
So I financially, woo.
So he says, good parenting means talking about money with our kids. Children are hyper aware of money, and they have scores of questions about its nuances. But when parents shy away from the topic, they lose a tremendous opportunity, not just to model the basic financial behaviors that are increasingly important, but also to imprint lessons about what the family truly values. So it's a guidebook and a values-based philosophy.
Oh, I like it. What's the title again?
The Opposite of Spoiled by Ron Lieber. So it talks about, it gives you a blueprint to handle the tooth fairy, allowance, chores, charity, savings, birthdays, holidays, cell phones, checking accounts, clothing, cars, part-time jobs, and college tuition.
I have a tooth fairy story. When I was a kid, if you put a tooth under a pillow, you got a quarter, right? And then when my kids, you put a tooth under a pillow, they got $1. Well, then one day, one of their friends, we go over to the friend's house, and he was like, the tooth fairy came. I got $20. The tooth fairy came. I got $20. And I just looked at the mom. I was like, what the fuck? Now I have to, and my kids are like, the tooth fairy only gave me $1. Like,
I think that's crazy.
I didn't have any singles. We didn't have any singles in the house. That was
my dad did that one time, and then after the second tooth came out, he was like, "Tooth fairy's not real."
Look, I gave you 20 for the first one. That'll cover the rest.
That's to cover exactly. Okay? That'll cover the rest of your dental process. I got to save up for your braces. Sorry, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear that a lot too, about just over the top. What am I going to get? Going to give a gift certificate to a Disney show or a Broadway show. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm
What's
with you.
Underneath my pillow? Oh, Lamborghini. Goody.
They're just excited to have the tooth fairy come. They don't need a big wad of cash.
What is the point? Let's just stop this tooth fairy.
Stop the nonsense.
I am not joining you, Ronnie, in that. I will say that my son right now has his first loose tooth. And we took a video of it last night because he wants to see it wiggling. And so doing that, by the way, was hilarious. And then he's like, send it to the whole family. I go, they don't care about a video of you and your loose tooth. It's not even like super loose. It's just the beginnings of looseness. And he's like, send it to them. Everybody needs to see it. So I sent it, and that was that. But meanwhile, he's so excited. He is so excited to lose his first tooth. And he keeps saying, oh my God, so sad.
Are you going to do the tooth fairy thing?
Of course I'm going to. I'm not going. The tooth fairy will come. I have nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. And he knows that. Will the tooth fairy find me? Absolutely. What if I lose the tooth when we're not together? And I said, you make sure you get that tooth. What if it happens when I'm sleeping? It won't. How do you know? It won't. Because it just doesn't happen usually. He said, you said usually. What if it does? I was like,
Gotcha.
I didn't want to guarantee that it wouldn't happen when he was sleeping, but it's not the norm.
Does he know the amount?
No, I don't even know the amount.
I got to go back to this book.
Yeah, because like it's gotta. You can't just fluctuate. Tooth Fairy can't fluctuate amounts.
No.
You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Or
You gotta
can
be
they? That's a
consistent.
good question.
Tooth
Actually,
fairies can do whatever they want.
I'd probably do that.
Tooth fairies, apparently, because some tooth fairies give $20.
I would give like a different currency. You know what I mean? Why is it specific to your currency? You know what I mean? Travels the world.
My
I'd put
nephew,
like a yen.
my nephew,
there.
exactly, could. He would be excited. He'd be
Pesos.
super excited. Oh,
Yeah.
it's such a good idea. I just found all this money that I have from traveling, which of course I put away in case I ever go back to those countries again. And I apparently completely forgot about them. And I just was looking for something else in my drawer and found them. And I'm like, look at all this. I have no idea where it's from. And if I ever go to those countries again, whatever countries they may be, do you think I'm going to remember to bring that money? Do you think
No,
it's still
I do
even
not.
good? Probably not.
No.
Anyway, so-
Governments have changed 3 times since then.
Exactly. So my nephew lost his tooth when he wasn't at home, and he had apparently made the request for, I don't know, a Pokemon something. I think I don't
Pokemon
really card, maybe, yeah, a particular one. And so his parents were tripping. He'd lost, I don't know, his parents were tripping. And so they were at the 11 o'clock at night saying, do we need to go to Target? How do we get this Pokemon card? He can't wake up. Well, all of us are saying he can't wake up without a Pokemon card. Or give him some money. So my sister writes a letter, or actually my niece writes a letter. So, cause it can't be in my sister's handwriting. That's, Dear Asher, I'm so excited for you that you lost your tooth, ... You know, I'm not there, and I know you really want a Pokemon card. So I'm not able to get to that. But when you get home, you'll have something like that. Wrote a whole thing. They put that letter under
Wait, the Tooth Fairy wrote this?
the Tooth Fairy wrote this letter.
Why is the Tooth Fairy getting Pokemon cards?
I mean, the Tooth Fairy's magical. Tooth Fairy can do whatever they want
Okay, all right.
per wants. So that's that's the magic.
The opposite of spoiled.
Right. So at the time I wrote this whole letter, and it's a long, I don't even know if he can read. It doesn't matter.
It's like 2 pages long.
Yeah.
Explanation.
Dear Asher, so excited for you about your tooth. So sorry I can't show up in just the way you want me to, but I've got you, and I'll have it to you within 24 hours.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have.
Is it? I thought Ronnie
Looking
had
at
a
the clock
TikTok.
oh, no. Do you have a TikTok, Ronnie?
I do. So
Excellent.
this is the trend. This is the new trend that's happening.
I can't
I'm already
wait.
scared.
Let's see what's it called. It's called the burning trend. Yeah, burning. I guess it's called burning pile trend. It's not what you
Okay.
think. It's not what you
Oh,
think.
okay. Good. I mean,
but it does
I don't
involve
know.
fire. I'll show you this TikToker, Charlie D'Amelio. She's very famous on TikTok.
Oh.
Of her doing the trend. I can't play the audio because we don't own the rights to that. Why don't you guys explain what's going on here?
Okay. She's lighting
A
a
match.
a
A
lighter, throwing it, putting it in her mouth, then lighting another and saying something.
She's singing
She's
a
like
song.
lip syncing. Yeah, she's like
lip
lip syncing to a
syncing
song.
and then holding it and then closing it.
yeah,
That's it?
that's the trend. Yeah, well, that's the trend, right?
Okay.
What? I don't know. I'm
Um,
still not clear. What's the trend? Let's see
The
another
trend
one.
is just lighting a lighter?
It's like that movement. It's like you do the same thing that you just do that.
You flick
That's
the
how
lighter.
TikTok works.
You
Yeah.
flick the lighter.
No. Look. It's a transition trend, all right? So she has the lighter. She puts it up, puts it in her mouth. Then when she grabs the lighter, now it's nighttime.
Okay.
Oh,
so
maybe you should have
use the
described it, Ronnie.
Yes, thank you.
Nelsie and I are going. All I see
Anyway,
is something stupid. Yes.
So
Oh my
this
God.
is what's the problem with this trend is that,
The nails.
as you can see here, that people have been lighting their hair. That's the problem with the trend is that everyone is lighting their hair on fire.
That's amazing.
So
She
let her
deserves
hair-
that.
She Heidi,
Come on, this is so stupid. Look at her. This is so dumb.
Wait a minute. Are we horrible people that we are laughing and
No.
someone lighting their hair on fire and then someone burning themselves?
No, they're horrible people for doing this
Nobody's
trend.
horrible, but it's just really, I want to say silly but my son's not around, so I'm just going to say dumb. It's just dumb.
It is.
Well, that's just
It's
TikTok,
so
isn't
dumb.
it?
It's like, how do these things catch on? And then everyone's like, oh, I've just got to do that.
It's, you know what it is? You know what
What?
it is?
Please-
It's
no,
the
we
way
don't.
it's the way that TikTok works, right? So, Nelsie, you might know a little bit about how TikTok works, but like these trends really do blow up because the sound. So the trend starts with the sound or a hashtag. If you click on that sound, it'll show you a bunch of people who did the same thing, right? So a lot of people look at that. That's how you get views. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
TikTok
When you
has
say
become a
sound, you mean
trend.
song?
It might be a song. It might be
Yeah, it might be a sound. It's
a
a sound
clip
of
of
a
dialogue.
video. Yeah,
And
exactly.
why can't we play it?
Because we don't own the rights to music. We'll get taken down.
But TikTok doesn't own the rights.
They do. They have shared.
Oh, they have relationships with all these
Yeah,
folks.
exactly.
Got
so
it.
that's why if your song blows up on Twitter, you're gonna make a bunch of money off streams because it's like playing like a million times a minute. You know what I mean?
On Twitter or TikTok?
TikTok. We're talking about TikTok. We're not even
I
talking
know,
about
but
Twitter.
you just said Twitter, my friend.
I did not say that. I said TikTok.
Can't wait till
We're
you.
not
I
talking
can't
about
wait
Twitter.
till you listen back and then
All right.
apologize to me.
And
That's why if your song blows up on Twitter, you're gonna make a bunch of money off streams.
Oopsie.
And
All right,
guys,
instant replay.
I think that's all the time we have.
I thought we don't say that
When you're
anymore.
out to
No,
No,
we
it's
don't say,
another
I think
thing.
we did it. That's what you didn't like. God, it's so hard to figure out what
I know. I forgot they sound almost the same.
You're spooning with a
Yeah, we're fucking done.
stranger
That's how we're
and
gonna
won't
end
let
the
you listen. Find your joy. When your house reeks of weed and your kids hallucinating, find your joy. Find your joy. When you're sick, you're dick and scary, when your dog likes Jiffy, find your joy.
You've been listening to the What If Nothing's Wrong podcast with Heidi Haddad, LCSW, Nelsie Spencer, that's me, and Ronnie Whaley. Tweet us and join Heidi's weekly AMAs on Twitter at Heidi L. Haddad or tweet the What If Nothing's Wrong podcast at WINW Pod. That's at WINW Pod on Twitter. You can also email us at whatifnothingswrong@gmail.com. The What If Nothing's Wrong podcast is produced and edited by the amazing Ronnie Whaley.